City joint meeting of the Open Space and Advisory Committee with the Parks and Rec Commission as well. Could I please have a roll call?
Open Space Advisory Committee Chair Kimbrough. Vice Chair McQuarrie. Member Burge. Member Mozingo. Member Norrie. Member Schaefer. Member Wiggins. A quorum is present. Parks and Rec Commission Chair Walt.
Here.
Vice Chair Whitefield. Commissioner Baker Roberts. Commissioner Cartwright. Commissioner McDermott.
Here.
Commissioner Meyer. Here. Commissioner Schutte.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 3, which is public comment. Do we have any public comment? Please sign in, if you would, please, and then make sure that you see green. There you go.
Good evening, Jim Fazer. I'm wearing a couple hats this evening, president of Carson City Little League, and also here representing the Chamber of Commerce Leadership Institute class of 2026. Thought this was a great opportunity with boards present to kind of share our project for this year for the Leadership Institute, and that is a project at Governor's Field. Myself spending a lot of time out there over the past 6 or so years, kind of saw a unique opportunity to do some enhancements out there, and the leadership group kind of got behind that. I have a couple of classmates here in the back row here as well this evening. So just real briefly wanted to cover kind of what our thoughts were on the project. We've already had some meetings with the parks staff, and they seem to be on board with what we're looking at, but really want to do some functional projects out there. Some wayfinding is kind of a challenge at Governor's, especially when we have folks coming in from outside the area. Some informational stuff at the snack bar, kind of an informational kiosk. We often hear that folks don't know what's going on throughout the season, both with Little League, both with Pop Warner. So trying to dress up the front of the snack bar. Really looking to kind of the big bang on this project is kind of an art component. We have a lot of big blank canvases out there, field houses, dugouts. Really want to see if we can kind of dress those up a bit with some painting, maybe some artist murals of football, baseball activities. So looking to make those enhancements, and then kind of a small picnic area kind of right out in front of the snack bar. There's a memorial rock in that location, and we really want to kind of dress that area up and kind of spruce it up. So anyways, we thought we'd just come forth today and share those thoughts and kind of our plan, and that we're working with the Parks Department really closely on this, and we hope to present a pretty good project here come May.
Great, thank you. Any additional public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 4 for possible action. We'll start with the Parks and Rec Commission meeting minutes for October 7th of 2025. Can we call for a vote? Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes from October 4th. Is that what it was? 2025. Or I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. October 7th, 2025.
All right, we have a second as well. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
Open space. Everybody's read their minutes. Is there any changes? If there's no changes, can somebody make a motion?
I move to approve the minutes of October 20th.
Motion, a second? Mary, second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain as I was absent.
One abstention. We're done. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 5, meeting items. We'll start with 5A, which is a presentation only by the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation on program activities And this is by our very own Lindsay Boyer.
You get a new job? You didn't tell us you transferred.
Little bait and switch for you.
Yeah.
Now, for the record, Lindsay Boyer, Open Space Manager for Carson City. I'm very pleased to invite tonight Miss Kendall Scott, who is the Outdoor Education Lead for the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation, Endor. I invited them to come present tonight and give us some updates on their program. I know that we had a presentation from Endor. It's been several years, so I'm sure they're up to a lot of great things. So with that, I will turn it over to Kendall, and I can just do your slides.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Kendall Scott. I am the Outdoor Education Lead for the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation. Excited to be here with you all tonight in Carson City. We, as Lindsay mentioned, are a small, newer division within the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. If you're unfamiliar or don't remember, as she mentioned, it's probably been a while. We originally started with just one employee, Colin Robertson, so you may have met him, and have grown now. We have about 4.5, almost 5 employees, and we also oversee the OHV program with 2 employees. So tonight I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the division and the type of work that we're doing. And I'm going to be highlighting a few projects that we've been working on recently to kind of show you a little bit about some of the work that we do. So we go ahead to the next slide. Sorry, I know you just got it up there. There we go. All right. So our mission is to advance and promote sustainable world-class outdoor recreation throughout Nevada. We do this through basically working at a lot of different intersections, right? So we work directly with community recreation entities like yourselves. We work with outdoor recreation businesses to support our outdoor recreation economy. We work in the health and wellness space. The education space is my specialty. And we're, looking to increase community capacity for outdoor recreation and ultimately for stewardship. Next slide. This is our team. So I mentioned those 6 team members. So down there, those 2 in the bottom, Caden and Tyler, they are our OHV program managers. And then the rest of the team is Endor staff. So Denise and Elizabeth are our administrators. Myself, you probably all know Chelsea. Everyone knows Chelsea. If not from Endor, and then from Muscle Powered, perhaps. And then Yasmina Sakanovich is our GIS analyst. She does a lot of mapping support. She oversees a program called Trail Finder that I'll talk about today, and helps with kiosks and that sort of thing across the state. So next slide. All right, so I'm going to jump in and tell you guys about some of the projects that we've been working on recently, starting with an outdoor economic impact analysis. So the data that you're looking at right now, this is actually federal data that comes from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA. And this data comes out each year, usually about this time of year, for the previous year. So right now we're awaiting 2024 data. This is 2023 data, which is the most up-to-date data we have from the BEA right now. There's been a little bit of a delay due to the government shutdown with getting that data out for 2024. So we're expecting it anytime, but we're not really sure when it's coming. So this is currently the most up-to-date information that we have around the outdoor economy. As you can see, it's a huge industry in this country, and it's growing every year. It's $1.2 trillion in 2023 nationally, and supported 5 million jobs, and accounted for 2.3% of the U.S. GDP. If you look at Nevada specifically, it's an $8.1 billion industry in Nevada, supporting almost 60,000 jobs, and quite a bit of our state employment and our state economy, equivalent to or more than industries like mining, right, and manufacturing and those types of sectors. So Outdoor economy is huge, especially in Nevada where we have so much open space, we have so much public land, we have so much opportunity for outdoor recreation, as we know. So as I mentioned, this is federal data that becomes available to us each year. However, we got some funding a few years back to do a more specific study looking at a more granular level of Nevada and our economic data here. So you can advance to the next slide and we can look at that. So this is the economic impact study that was it's pretty hot off the presses right now. It's just been released in the past couple of weeks. And this is also data from 2023 is what this study ended up looking at as well. And the reason that we did this more Nevada-specific study is that we knew that the BEA data has some blind spots. And it also just can't get as specific in each state, in each county, right, that type of thing, as we could with the data, with the funding that we had to do this study. So some of those blind spots included things like 1099 contractors are not included in this job count or in this economic kind of snapshot, right? So this is just like employees. So we knew that there was a lot more information out there, and there's actually a lot more contribution that outdoor recreation is making to our economy. So we wanted to try and capture a little bit more of that, get a little bit more detail. That QR code should take you to the website where you can read the report in full. It's pretty long, it's pretty detailed. So if you'd like some reading materials in the days to come, there's a lot to digest there. Just kind of, a quick overview of some of the things that you can learn from this report. We were able to, not only just look at direct market spending, which is what the BEA is typically measuring, but we were also able to look at some non-market benefits like avoided healthcare costs and that type of thing, and how outdoor recreation contributes to that part of our economy. So we found that there are several more jobs in there as well, as I mentioned. And if you saw on the last slide, we had an $8.1 billion estimate of outdoor recreation contributing to the economy from the BEA. But this study found $8.8 billion in 2023. So this table here on the slide is an example of some of the comparison you can make. You see Carson City up there at the top, looking at visitor spending of locals versus non-locals on outdoor recreation. And there's a lot of cool comparisons like that. And what we want for this data to do is we want it to be a tool for counties, for cities, for communities to advocate for outdoor recreation in their communities, to make policy decisions, and to have some language around, why is this valuable? How is this directly valuable in Carson City, in Churchill County, wherever it may be, right? And, we can look at communities like Carson that have been investing in their outdoor recreation for decades and compare that to the spaces where perhaps they need to maybe be looking at some strategies to improve their outdoor recreation economy, or maybe they want to, right? So there's a lot of awesome information in there. I could go on and on about it all night, but I won't do that to you. And we can go ahead and go to the next slide and talk about some more stuff going on. Unless there's any questions so far. I can take questions now if you like.
It's not a question, it's just a comment. I love the phrase non-market benefits. I mean, I think about that so often with the benefits of outdoor recreation and those things you can't measure, the health benefits, the improvement to mental health, all of it. So thank you. I'm going to use that term more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, we know, those of us who are outdoor recreators, we know those intangible benefits, right? But, it's helpful to have some solid data around some of that, at least. We can't necessarily capture all of those intangible benefits, but we wanted to get a little bit more specific around some of them for sure. So, yeah, thank you. All right. Well, I'll move on and I'll talk a little bit about my realm, which is outdoor education. So I manage a grant program called the Nevada Outdoor Education and Recreation Grant. We fund youth programming for outdoor recreation and education across the state. We're coming up on our 3rd year of the program, so we've just selected some really awesome projects for funding and are getting those rolling in the new year. And then I also oversee a new entity called the Outdoor Education Council. So this entity came from a bill during the legislative session this year, AB 165. And it was created from a kind of temporary version of this Outdoor Education Council called the Advisory Working Group back from 2023. They were tasked with studying ways to better integrate outdoor recreation and education into our public school system during the legislative interim. And then this report that you see up on the screen was the result of that. That's also available on our website if you'd like to take a look. And we were also able to propose a bill as part of this group based on these recommendations. And so that bill created this more permanent Outdoor Education Council that we're working on getting up and rolling now. And there are a few tasks assigned to that council in particular. So some of those that we're really excited about is an outdoor school designation program. So this is a way for schools to distinguish themselves for how they provide outdoor education and recreation opportunities for students and teachers and communities. And that will probably look similar to some of the parameters that are outlined in the recommendations in this report. So there's focus areas around capacity building, policy, content integration, and outdoor learning infrastructure. We don't know exactly what that'll look like yet. That'll be up to the council as a whole, which doesn't quite exist as a whole yet. So, but we're excited about that. So similar to the way that schools could be designated as like a STEM school if they meet certain criteria, this will kind of operate similarly. And then we're also going to be able to recognize an Outdoor Educator of the Year, which we're really excited about amongst our teachers across the state of Nevada. We are, again, like I said, still forming this council. We're looking for a student representative and another teacher. So if you all know anybody who might be interested, it's going to be a lot of fun. Send them my way. And that's the Outdoor Education Council. We can go to the next slide. All right. Next up is Nevada Trail Finder. I mentioned this briefly. Yasmina, our GIS analyst, oversees this website at nvtrailfinder.com. This is a really great resource for finding trails all across the state of Nevada. A lot of people use things like All Trails, right, which has a lot of like crowdsourced data, so anybody can go in there and add information about the trails. But a lot of those you have to pay to get any like good details, to download maps, that type of thing. This is a free resource, so you can download maps and use them offline. You can find out a lot of information about how difficult a trail is, about cultural significance of a trail, that type of thing. And what's also really amazing about Nevada Trail Finder is that all of the trails on this website are authorized trails. So you're sending people to a resource where they're making sure that they're going to avoid trails that might go through environmentally sensitive areas, or trails we're hoping to decommission, that type of thing. Hoping to steer people away from social trails, right, and just keep them on authorized trails. So we work directly with land managers to update this database and keep people informed. And there's also some really fun features, like you can do challenges and log several trails and earn badges for completing trail series and that sort of thing. We made these rack cards that you can see on the screen recently. We're updating those and going to be printing some more, but they've been out at some of the like chambers of commerce across the state, community centers, that type of thing. And Yasmina is working on getting some new ones out as well, because I know those are going fast. All right, we can go to the next slide. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention about Nevada Trail Finder, sorry. Coming soon is a new feature called Trailside Services. So that means that you'll be able to look at a trail and identify some of the businesses and services nearby that you might benefit from as a trail user. So, you know, if you're out ATVing, you might be able to see the businesses where you could get tire repair done, or that sort of thing. All right. Now we're on this slide. Okay. So Nevada Starry Skies Destination Program was another program that I wanted to highlight. This was another piece of legislation that got handed to us around creating a Starry Skies Destination Program. If you are unfamiliar, there is a organization called Dark Skies International, or DSI, and they designate pristine dark sky areas all around the world. So places like Death Valley and Great Basin National Park. And they help to, this designation helps to protect those starry skies, protect from light pollution, so that you can view the stars. And it's a really incredible program. However, it's also very, very expensive and time consuming to pursue a international dark sky designation. We know that we already have some really amazing dark skies across Nevada. So we created this state version that's a little bit more accessible. It's a lower threshold for participation so that communities that maybe don't have, you know, the pristine dark skies of Great Basin National Park, but they want to preserve the dark skies that they have, or they want to improve their light pollution within their community, they can do that through this program. So it's pretty simple to be involved. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can implement a management plan around lighting, or implement a new policy, implement or install new dark sky friendly lighting, that type of thing. There's kind of a menu of things in a toolkit that we've created. And there's also some education that you need to provide to your community about the importance of dark skies in order to be designated as a destination. There are a few different entities that are eligible to become a destination. So that includes schools, open spaces and parks, towns, cities, counties, and HOAs. Chelsea oversees this program, so you can direct questions to her. Her email's there on the screen. And we recently moved the application process for becoming a destination from an annual application window to a rolling application process, which means that you can get started whenever you like. And we have an awesome toolkit with lots of great resources around how to do this work. And we also have Chelsea, who has become a dark sky aficionado and can help with that as well. Next slide. All right, last little thing I wanted to mention in my time here, and then I'll let you move on. We are currently in the process of developing the next statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. This is an effort led by state parks that we have been supporting. It's also known as a SCORP. And this is going to be a 10-year plan that establishes priorities to address unmet needs for recreation across the state. Traditionally, or in the past, this plan has just been a 5-year plan, and now it's going to be a 10-year plan. So this one will start in 2027 and go through 2036, which means that stakes are even higher, which means that we need even more input. So I'm here to ask you all to participate in the survey that will help us to determine what the needs and most pressing priorities are for outdoor recreation across the state. This has a big impact on some of the state funding available for recreation projects through grant programs like Recreation Trails program. So this is, it has a big impact. It's going to last a long time. We would like as much participation from Nevadans as possible. So please, if you can share it, we would so appreciate that. The survey is going to be open through the end of the year. And again, just looking for all kinds of participation there. All right, and it is available in both Spanish and English. There's some flyers on the back table there that have the QR code to the Spanish one. This will take you to English, and there's one for English on the table as well. Or you can go to parks.nv.gov/SCORP, SCORP. And that's that one. We can go to the last slide, I think. All right. Well, those were all of my updates. That was just kind of a quick little snapshot of a bunch of different projects that we've been working on. That's my contact information, so feel free to shoot me an email if you're interested in any of that, if you want to know more, if you want me to connect you with anybody on the team about any of those programs, or anything else. And I'm happy to answer any more questions about any of those projects or anything else we may be doing.
Wonderful, and it's really, all of the projects are just inspiring, and I'm thrilled for many different reasons. I did want to say, though, that trying the QR code, it's not working.
Are they not working?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I apologize. They were working
Both of
yesterday.
them, so
Yeah, it says it's deactivated.
Which QR code were you looking for
The
there?
one that we,
both.
yeah.
Okay. So if the SCORP one, if you go to parks.nv.gov/SCORP, SCORP, that should get you there. And again, those QR codes in the back of those ones may work. I think they're different. And then the economic impact analysis, I believe, was the other one. That one you can just find on our website. It's ndor.nv.gov. If you go to About and Our Impact, it should be the top of that page. Sorry about that. Tried to make it easy.
I have a question a little bit about the market benefits, that big table that you showed with all the counties. I'm just curious, what, and this could get too granular, it's just I can read the report, but what constitutes an outdoor activity that would generate market share or revenue? I'm just really curious when I look at Clark County and Washoe County, obviously just because of the population numbers, they would be high dollars, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars of market benefit. But is that because there's outdoor recreation opportunities in those counties that are so much greater than they are and they would be in Elko or in other counties? I mean, how is,
Yeah.
like I said, it's probably a more detailed question than,
Yeah, I
you
don't
can
know that it
answer.
necessarily always speaks to the amount of opportunity, right? Sometimes it speaks to the marketability, right? And the access that people have to that space, right? So Clark and Washoe.
what is the dollar that's counted in that outdoor
I
recreation?
mean, it's a long list. I don't have,
Okay.
I don't know, like
So
the
could it be
comprehensive
could it
list.
be
I think.
buying, I mean, is it shopping for outdoor equipment?
Yes, yeah.
it's
So yeah, it would include things like,
Sales?
yeah,
Okay.
retail sales. If you're traveling to Nevada to hike and you stay in a hotel, right, that type of thing, I believe is all captured in there. Guiding services, even like gas, food on outings. I believe all of that is captured in that as well.
Follow-up question on that then. Is it then sports as well? Because we were discussing it too, why Las Vegas was so high. When you look and say that, it's what outdoor, I mean, what.
Sports are
and so-
not typically
So not like
included.
tournaments and stuff like
Unless
soccer,
it's like a
baseball.
specific outdoor recreation event, so like OHV races, that type of thing. But like, I don't believe like the Knights playing is included or in anything like that.
I was thinking more like sporting tournaments, outdoor sport, soccer, baseball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. I'm not totally sure about that one. I would have to look at the report. I don't believe so. There's kind of a list of activities, and they're typically more traditional, like hiking, cycling, some winter sports, snowboarding, OHV, that type of thing. Typically, playfield sports are not necessarily included in that, although I do believe there is some data comparing, if I look back, playfield sports might actually be included in this data. I don't know if it's always is in the BEA data, but I think it might be included in our state economic analysis. Because I know there was some comparison of like, what are the activities that generate low, moderate, and high spending? And I think playfield sports was included in that low category. So I'm not sure like what all that it captures. You'd have to look at I'd have to look into the report to know for sure what everything is included.
Well, we'll start. Whoops.
Things like
We're
fishing
gonna-
licenses,
Yes,
outdoor permits.
yes.
We'll go ahead and start down here, and then we'll take it down there. Any other additional questions from Parks and Rec?
Yeah, he,
Yeah, just one quick question. Thanks for the presentation, by the way. Did you mention grants? Your department gives grants out to
We-
certain groups?
we
Have we
do.
applied or won any? What do we need
I
to do?
believe you guys applied a couple of years back. Yeah, Dan and I were just talking about that actually. So I oversee the Nevada Outdoor Education and Recreation Grant, which again is for youth outdoor ed and recreation. And we've done 2 years of that grant funding so far. We've just awarded the third year for 2026, and then we do have funding right now for another year in 2027. So that'll be available starting next August is when applications open typically. And I can send y'all information about like what projects have benefited Carson City students. A lot of the projects cover like multiple counties, like river wranglers, right? They work in all the counties along the Carson River. So, it's hard to capture exactly like what projects are serving specific counties unless they're only working with a specific county. But we do have funding for that for the next little bit. And then, of course, the OHV program does typically biannual, so twice a year, calls for grant projects around OHV, education, safety, training, trail improvements, that type of thing for OHV specifically. I'm not sure when their next round is, but you can always get on their website and sign up for email updates.
So just more selfishly, should our open space committee be having staff? Is staff fully aware to apply for these, or are these private entities that should apply for
No,
these
it's open. Yeah, open
open,
call.
yeah.
Anyone can apply. Anyone who's eligible. So that includes local governments, nonprofits, schools. Yeah, yeah.
I just had a quick question. Thank you for your presentation, but your student representative, is there an age bracket?
There is not an age bracket, I don't believe, but they have to be enrolled as in a public school in Nevada, in a K through 12 public school. We had one for the advisory working group that was a high school student here in Carson. And so we've had high school in the past, but I think we'd be open to middle school. We'll just
Okay.
see what happens.
And then what does it entail?
Student representative is there to, provide a youth perspective. They're not allowed to be a voting member because you have to be over 18 to be a voting member on a state commission or council. But we found that having a student representative in this first group that this new council has come from was really valuable, and just he was able to do some like peer focus groups around some of the issues that we were looking at. And I think that youth voice is really important, so they can have a voice in how schools are designated as outdoor schools, in picking an outdoor educator. So that's a little bit TBD because we're not up and running yet, so I don't know exactly what it looks like quite yet. But I can speak to a little bit of what Sean, who was our student representative before, was able to do on the advisory working group. So
Okay, thank you.
No, it's great. I love the way for years they didn't have the smarts to put their mic on. Oops. So for years, there wasn't any attention towards recreation as there is now. And so one person comes in and now you have 4 people. It's very cool. And everybody in outdoor recreation should applaud you guys all the time because you're our champions there. So, and it comes from the highest level of government too, to sport. Obviously, everybody's been doing a good job getting it done. So your programs are well known in the area now too. So that's important. Good job.
good, yeah, thank you, appreciate that. And we couldn't do it without you all, right? We're just here to help our communities, help the state as a whole. So
Great, thank you for your time. Great presentation. All right, we'll move on to 5B, the discussion only, discussion regarding the Parks and Rec Commission meeting schedule for calendar year 2026.
Thank you, Dan Arp, Recreation Superintendent, for the record. First of all, I'd just like to excuse our director, Jen Budge, who cannot be here tonight because she had some foot surgery, so she'll be out for a couple weeks. So you're stuck with us, trying to fill in her shoes. So as you see, back in April of 2018, the Board of Supervisors recommended that the Parks and Recreation Commission meet 4 times per year and an additional 2 times joint meeting like this. And then in addition to that, set that to be the first, so bi-monthly, the first Tuesday of every other month. So February, April, June, August, October, and December, unless otherwise provided. And so you've been provided a schedule, a proposed schedule for 2026 in your packets for the commission to discuss for the schedule for next year.
All right, great, thank you. So you all had time to review it. Do we have any discussion? No, I don't see. I think we were all very well aware, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm used to having it on all the time. Oops. Again, I asked the question. Are we all right? We're gonna put it on our calendar tonight.
Yes.
Nobody will miss one meeting. A few chuckles out of that. All right, well, thanks. Yeah, we're ready and that's good that we're prepared for next year now.
Okay, and
Twenty-
I have to jump in at this point. So there's a really strange variation in the Carson City Municipal Code regarding the 2 different committees. So the parks, the power to change meetings is given to the chair of the Parks Commission, and in conjunction with the director of Parks, Recreation, and Open Space. For the Open Space Committee, the Open Space Committee is commended to meet once every month unless the committee itself determines otherwise. So, Open Space, you have to vote to accept your calendar.
Here's an action item. Not mine.
Okay, thanks, Todd, for clarity here. So, we already had some agreement to the date, so somebody make a motion that those be the dates for 2026? Are we looking at Jay to make the motion? Is that?
I guess so. Keith just handed it to me.
I saw that works pretty good. Don't sit next to Keith, that's all.
I move to approve the Open Space Advisory Committee meeting schedule for calendar year 2026 as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Maren. Any more discussion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Thanks, Todd.
Look how
Thank you.
guys are.
He's keeping us on track. That's. Yeah, that is, I don't think we get a pay raise for that, though.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item number 5D, which is for discussion only, presentation only by the volunteer coordinator regarding volunteer program activities throughout parks and open space. And this is Aaron Larson. Hey, thanks.
Hello. For the record, my name is Erin Larson, and I'm the volunteer coordinator for Carson City Parks, Recreation, and Open Space. And I am excited to be here today to present to you the volunteer program report for 2024 and 2025. Both years were extremely busy and successful, so I am super happy to be here to show you photos and talk to you a little bit about what happened. So first up, I'd like to briefly talk about the volunteer coordinator position as a little refresher. So from 2018 to 2022, the position of volunteer coordinator was not a permanent full-time position. It was held by 3 different AmeriCorps Vistas, including my predecessor, Chelsea Kinchlow. She was the first AmeriCorps member who then came back as the first full-time volunteer coordinator in 2023. I started this position in January of 2024. So I'm finishing up my 2nd year here, and I feel very lucky to be a part of this wonderful team, and to this year be presenting projects that happened under my reign here. A couple of mission statements I have here, which I think are important to have fresh in our minds as we go through the past and future volunteer opportunities today, as a way of reminding ourselves the importance of this department and the volunteer program. So the Carson City Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Department's mission is to provide exceptional parks, open spaces, and diverse recreational opportunities to enhance the quality of life in Carson City while preserving our natural resources for future generations. The volunteer program's mission, specifically as created by my predecessor, is that Carson City Parks, Recreation, and Open Space is dedicated to engaging and educating the public in their community's public lands through volunteerism. Through these practices, members of Carson City will become better stewards of their environment while educating and encouraging those around them to care for their local public lands. As we talk about all of these volunteer events today, it's also important to keep in mind that for every hour a volunteer serves, there's a monetary value associated with that. And as you can see here, from 2018 to 2025, that dollar amount has grown by $9.36. Today, it's valued at $34.79 per hour. That, combined with our grand total of 2,803 hours in 2024, puts us at a total monetary value of $97,530.29. And in 2025, with our total of 3,834 hours, had a value of $140,649.90, which is a pretty big jump there. And just as a reference, so that we can see the big grown difference here, in 2023, it was $88,380. So each year, this number has really climbed up there with the increase of volunteers and projects. This number continues to climb for 2025, as we have had a couple projects since this report was put together, and continue to have a couple in December. So with those hours in mind, let's look at what happened in 2024. So in 2024 and 2025, the thousands of hours were spent by volunteers in our parks and open spaces, participating in activities including major horse and dog waste cleanup and weeding activities at Ronald D. Wilson, annual work days at Lakeview Trailhead, weeding and thistle digging at Blackwell's Pond, trash cleanups at Voltaire Canyon, Sand Canyon, Carson Ridge Disc Golf Park, Carson River Park, Empire Ranch Trail, East Silver Saddle Ranch, and Linear Ditch Trail. Planting and weeding projects at Fullstone Wetlands, Fuji Park, Lone Mountain Cemetery, and along the Carson River Corridor. Thistle digging at Horse Creek Ranch, cottonwood painting at Carson River Park and Ambrose Carson River Open Space, trail maintenance, OHV cleanups, reseeding projects, and more. So there has been a ton of opportunity for volunteers in the last 2 years. Some notable highlights from the last couple years. So as some of you may remember from my last report, we were starting to relaunch our Adopt a Trail program. Our Adopt a Trail program is a program geared towards groups, clubs, organizations, businesses, families, friends, etc., who are looking to help us care for a specific trail. Groups agree to care for a trail for their trail for a minimum of twice a year, but usually will do more, and will perform tasks as required by each trail, such as trash cleanups, weeding, planting, dog waste cleanups, etc. Groups who are currently adopting a trail and therefore performing these cleanups several times a year include Kiwanis Club, who performs trash cleanups at Carson River Park, High Desert Endurance, who have helped with reseeding efforts and dog waste cleanups on the new Prison Hill Trail West. RMAC Construction LLC, coordinated by Aaron McQuarrie, who performed trail and drainage maintenance on the Sea Hill FEMA Trail. Battleborn Off-Roaders and Friends of Prison Hill, who regularly tend to OHV area on Prison Hill. Click Bond, who has helped with trash and dog waste cleanup on Empire Ranch Trail. The Boys and Girls Club, who have also helped with trash and dog waste cleanup, as well as planting and weeding at Fullstone Wetlands. Robin Travis and Friends, who have adopted and regularly clean up Moffett Open Space. U.S. Bank, who has not officially chosen their adopted trail, but have helped with thistle digging on Linear Ditch and planting at Morgan Mill Open Space Reserve while they decide. Moose Lodge, who regularly hosts trash cleanups at East Silver Saddle Ranch, and our newest addition, Filth Busters, coordinated by Mary Burge, who have been cleaning up mass amounts of trash on Fairview Trail at least every other week thus far. And if you couldn't tell, that's her in the bottom right picture, holding that giant trash bag. Other notable projects that have occurred the last couple of years have been coordinated with River Wranglers. River Wranglers is a local nonprofit here in Carson City that focuses on projects that decrease impacts of pollution on the river. They work with K through 12 students to learn about the Carson River watershed and specifically host field trips where students, teachers, and volunteers can roll up their sleeves and work together to conserve and understand our watershed. Frequently throughout the year, River Wranglers will coordinate with our department to help host an educational activity and/or workstation with students that they bring from local schools. In the last 2 years, those activities have included cottonwood painting at Carson River Park and at Ambrose Carson River Open Space to help protect cottonwood galleries from the beavers, as well as they've assisted with planting native pollinator plants at Empire Ranch Trailhead and at Fuji Park. Outside of these volunteer activities, we also like to help them with hosting nature walks for their annual Snapshot Day and a very fun trout tour that we give several times a year during their trout releases. Another notable event/location that we like to focus on is Voltaire Canyon. A couple times a year minimum, we try to host a mass trash cleanup on this Carson City property, and these events will often bring out many individual volunteers, local geocachers, and muscle-powered volunteers. At each of these events, volunteers will clean up, on average, 6 to 10 large trash bags worth of trash, as well as several larger discarded items like furniture, tires, pallets, etc. It often takes 2 or more trucks to get rid of it. Move with the Mayor and National Public Lands Day are 2 annual events that usually bring out more than a decent amount of volunteers. The last 2 years in a row, I have had amazing help in organizing the Sand Canyon cleanup on National Public Lands Day by Katie Maldine, who is an incredible regular volunteer who helps rally all the local geocachers to come out, fill up a truck bed or 2 with large bags of trash, in addition to the individual volunteers and muscle-powered members who often join. And she almost always brings donuts. Move with the Mayor is another well-known annual event where individual volunteers, families, groups, clubs, businesses, everyone comes together to clean up weeds in Lone Mountain Cemetery. Last year, we had a total of 90 volunteers, and this year we had 110. Groups like Home Depot, Kiwanis Club, Rotary Club, NJROTC, Moose Lodge, and more come out to help with this meaningful project. And this year, we did almost the entirety of the west side of the cemetery, which is an incredible feat. We always appreciate the Mayor's support of this annual project and of our historic cemetery, and it's one of my personal favorite events. The Carson Ridge Disc Golf Park was largely put together and is continuously maintained by staff and volunteers several times a year. This year, I put together several meetings in the beginning of the year to discuss with staff and 4 regular disc golf volunteers, Paul Cardinal, Dennis Peterson, Greg Swift, and Garrett Bowden, who not only helped me to organize several volunteer events throughout the year, but also contribute a lot of time to the course individually. In the last 2 years, volunteers have helped with weeding, trash cleanups, spreading mulch in the practice area and on some of the course's trails, moving around decorative landscaping materials like rocks, sealing and resealing benches, and much more. Another group who I would just like to briefly mention for this disc golf park is the local geocaching group, which I've brought up a couple of times already, but they like to host a mass trash cleanup out there at least once per year and individually attend these events as well. An event that's a bit newer to our department is Volunteer Appreciation. Last year was the department's first ever volunteer appreciation event put together to celebrate all of the wonderful volunteers we work with throughout the year. It was hosted at Silver Saddle Ranch with food, music, partner organizations who hosted activities at their tables, park ranger-led historical walks and awards. This year, we had another great turnout in the community center theater lobby, a last-minute switch-up due to weather, where we again had food and awards and partner tables like Muscle Powered, CWSD, Friends of Silver Saddle Ranch, River Anglers, and the Foundation for Carson City Parks and Rec, some of which had fun activities at their table. And we also did a fun round of park ranger-led trivia. These events have both been extremely fun and successful, and I think it's a great way to celebrate all of our wonderful volunteers and to have them socialize. Another program we had discussed relaunching in the last volunteer program was our Park Ambassador program. Our Park Ambassador program encourages individuals who want to spend more time out on their trail or who typically already do spend a ton of time out on the trails. These park ambassadors help to pick up trash, dog waste, they pull weeds, they report maintenance, they educate the public, and overall there are eyes and ears out on the trail. Park ambassadors typically spend about once per week or more out on their designated trail performing these tasks and then reporting back to us. We currently have 20 total park ambassadors spread out around Carson City, caring for various parks and trails, and these individuals provide a huge bulk for the volunteer hours in Carson City. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to mention Muscle Powered. Muscle Powered provides the other huge bulk of volunteer hours for Carson City. And in the past, their projects have included helping complete the Capitol to Tahoe Trail, Phase 2 of the Odyssey Trail, maintenance on the Lincoln Bypass and Bob's Trail, and many trash mobs throughout the year at places like Coons Lane Trailhead, which was a huge effort in the beginning of the year, Linear Ditch Trail, which is always a huge effort in the springtime, and Fairview Trail. And that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, I can attempt to answer, but if not, I have my contact information up there.
Here, we'll start with Jay. No? Keith? Charles?
Well done.
I just wanted to thank Aaron because all of this happens because you work so hard and I know you have great support, but you are our general. So thank you for everything that you do.
She attends everything.
Thank you so much.
I don't know about general, how about a colonel or something like that? Hey, how much do you think of this would be done if you weren't there?
I don't know. I have a pretty good team backing me up. So
Yeah,
it's
I know,
a
but
team effort.
You need
And
to take credit for a lot of that and the success that you put out here tonight. I did want to challenge you though, when you bring young kids out to pick up dog poo, I figured that might be a challenge at some point, or a fight, or a throwing party at the end.
it's a
Ew.
conversation, at least in the beginning. Yeah.
Good job, Aaron. I'd be proud of you, so.
Thank you.
This side, any comments?
Just great job. When I see you at work and you're always so positive and such a supporter of the community and our parks and our trails and our volunteers, and well done.
When you mentioned earlier the $34.79 per volunteer hour, if we're working on events or anything on our own, should we be like keeping track of our hours for you?
Yes, absolutely. That is a great question. A lot of our volunteers like to fly under the radar. So of course, there's a bunch of people who maybe I didn't mention today. But yes, if people are out there doing volunteer work on their own, I always ask to talk to me first so that we can see what you're doing. But we do have a volunteer hours reporting form on our website. If you go to volunteer, it's carson.org/volunteer/CCPros. There's a little box that says volunteer hours, and it has a really easy form that just has your name, how many hours you put in, and what you did out there.
Thank you. No, thank you for your presentation. It was great. The numbers were wonderful. I think it shows a lot of us in the community, the need for volunteerism. And, because governments, nonprofits, nobody could do it without volunteers. And so I think that is so important to recognize. And I appreciate the presentation that you brought forward to recognize them as well. And the dollar amount is, if anybody knows that as well, it's going to help every grant she writes. And so that dollar amount is so unbelievably helpful for all of her grants that she wants to get on that end as well. So very good. And the growth, I think, is great. And that is something that you should be extremely proud of. Yeah, thanks. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item number 5E, which is for possible action. This is discussion and possible action regarding a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors for an official name for the art building. And this is, oh, hey, hi. Hi again.
I'm wearing multiple hats today. So thank you, Commission and Committee. My name is Dan Art, for the record, Recreation Superintendent, filling in for Anna Freeman, our Arts and Culture Supervisor, who is out of town. So if you're not familiar with what we unofficially call the art building, it's just this little building on the south parking lot here next to the aquatic facility. It used to be the house for our kindergarten program and the before and after school program, and then we discontinued that program several years ago. And then when we inherited the arts and culture program a couple years ago, we thought that'd be a great place to house some arts and culture programming in that space, but it does not have a name. And so we just call it the art building, but it's been really difficult. I know we're really creative with our names. But it's been really difficult when we're doing classes and things there to be able to say where it's at. And, in the activity guide, put like the art building in there. And as you can see, I think you were provided a picture of the facility in your packets. It's not the most exciting looking facility, as was pointed out to me at the beginning of this meeting. It kind of looks like a campground laundry facility. But yeah, I know. So we'd like to liven it up a little bit as well, but we didn't want to do that until we had an official name, because perhaps the name could be incorporated into some artwork on the side, or maybe if there's a theme to that name, that can be incorporated into the design as well. And the interior is just as lackluster. So we like to, it's the art building, right? So we like to add some art and do some things to make it more exciting. And you also were provided in your packet our naming policy for the Parks and Rec Department when we're going to name a facility. And this is the same process we go through when we name an open space property or any other facility or property, and which usually includes seeking suggestions from various commissions, and also doing public surveys for votes on that. So initially, Anna took this to the Cultural Commission to get suggestions. The suggestions that were provided there were turned into the survey that we send out to the public. And then we also, as staff, provided some names as well. That was what was put into the survey that we sent out. And as you can see, it wasn't an overwhelming response on the survey. We did try. It was sent out through social media, through our email blast, which has about 21,000 email accounts on there. So definitely did get out. The same process we would do for any other survey that we do, but it just doesn't have quite the same pull as perhaps like the dog policy or other things that got over 1,000 respondents. So I think it's safe to say that the community doesn't overall have a huge opinion about what we name the building, but it needs an official name nonetheless. So those names are provided for your consideration to take into account, but also I think any other suggestions are welcome from this group here today, in hopes that if there's an agreement that we can give that recommendation to the Board of Supervisors and move forward with an official name for that building. And I will turn the time over to you for any questions or discussion.
All right, great, thank you. So is this, just to clarify with the district attorney's office, is this just a Parks and Recreation agenda item? Or is it open space as well? The resolution just says Parks and Rec. So I just want to clarify.
Let me look at it real quick.
Well, while he's,
This is a big yard
while
out
he's
there.
looking into that, we'll go ahead and start down here on, any additional suggestions that you may have thought of or
I just
wanna
have a
bring forward?
question, Dan. So are you coming with some names that your committee chose, and we're looking at those to give a recommendation to the supervisors?
Yes, so we provided the results of the survey, which we took some of the names that the Cultural Commission provided. We added some as well because we didn't get a lot of suggestions from the Cultural Commission as well. As you can see, the number one voted for name with a total of 12 votes is Community Arts and Culture Center, with 10 votes for Community Art Building. So very generic names, which is fine. I mean, I think we're open to any suggestions. We just want to actually officially call it something, and then so we can move forward on putting some signage up there.
So to answer there were 81 votes that were received, and many of them were just one vote. So the most that tallied were 12 votes for the Community Arts and Culture Center. And so right now, we're discussing whether or not, if there's any other suggestions beyond what was suggested through the survey. If so, what are they? And then we can take action on what we might like.
Thank you.
Are there any suggestions of additional names? Yeah.
I did do the survey.
Oh, and what did you choose?
I came up with, well, that building, actually it was a maintenance shop for a while, and then it was the kids club. The kids club was a pre-K building for a long, long time. And my thought process was the art club. So something simple, straight to the point, easy to paint on the side of the thing because I did read the whole thing. And there you go. But that was one of the 81s that probably got one vote.
Yes, likely. So unfortunately, we were unable to put all the. There's probably
I'm not.
a dozen or
I'm
so.
not worried about
Yeah, a
that.
dozen or so write-ins that had one vote each. Art Club was probably a much more practical choice of the ones that were provided. There were some interesting write-ins that were fun, but not included on this list. But that is a great suggestion.
Those weren't mine. No, well, I just thrown that out there. I mean, I just like the MAC. I mean, who calls it the multi-purpose athletic, you know what I mean? So, and that's why I thought that. So I'm just throwing that out there because I did take time to do the survey.
All right,
So,
thank you.
You're very
Supervisor
welcome.
Schutte?
I really like Art Club, and my comment was going to be that I don't see this as a culture center. And so I just felt that it's really about an art building. And so I love the idea of Art Club, especially with the background of the kids club. There's so many kiddos in Carson who are now adults who spend a lot of time at kids club. So I love that.
Great,
So
thank you.
I second. So
Thank
now
you.
it has 2 votes.
So what does the DA say?
You are correct.
Okay.
The resolution does say it's the Parks and Recreation Commission that makes the recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. So this item is for the Parks Commission.
We all need to leave the room here.
No, you don't.
All right. I will ask, though, do you all have any suggestions or, yeah.
What
please
about
share.
Eagle Valley Art Club? Because then you have something to paint.
Oh, there you go.
Keith Schaefer, for the record, maybe under public comment, because I'm not really part of the. I was just wondering, is there any historical, and it's bad that I don't know this off the top of my head, but is there any historical personality in Carson City that it could be named for? Is this going to be a thing that would show up on a Google map, like with a pin, you know, the Mark Twain Carson City art, and which is longer than you want to paint on the building. But, you know, is there a Curry or a Hannafin or just some famous or quasi-famous artist or art person in Carson City that we could name the center after? And maybe there's rules against that, I don't know.
So Dan Art for the record. So I can answer a couple of those questions. As far as if there's historical art, people, that'd be a great name. That's kind of open for if any of you have that knowledge. As far as what our intents are, yes, I think eventually we'd like to, once we get an official name, be able to put this on Google Maps because we do have classes in there. And it would help, I think, people find that location because I think when we tell people where it is, they sometimes show up here at the community center or at the pool looking for where it is. So I think the goal would be to be able to add something to Google Maps or other maps. It's 801. Yep, 801 North Roop Street. Yep. So it does have an address, so it will allow us to add it to online maps. And then as far as the naming after an individual, it is addressed in the naming policy that is permitted, but you have to kind of submit. If you want to name it after a person, it has to be kind of a proposal as to why, what merit, what qualifications that individual have. And so if that is what is decided here today to name it after an individual, then we probably would just to follow that policy need to have some sort of a proposal written up that we can present to the Board of Supervisors as to why we feel that this building should be named after a person. And that doesn't necessarily have the same qualifications if you name it after any other name that's not named after an individual.
Well, I think Dave, just like he totally just, I think, is going to floor us all. So he took the art club, and now it is what?
It is,
The, like,
it is the TAC,
Jack, the art club.
the art club, taking a page out of Ohio State, being the Ohio State University. This would be the
Now you have the
art
Mac
club.
and the TAC.
The art club. So you could have a TAC.
Okay, however.
Can we
though-
argue with each other up here?
Yeah, no, okay, so if.
It doesn't say art in it.
Yeah, so no, we'll, so do we have a motion?
Oh, really? I
for-
thought we were just spitballing.
Oh, no, I think
Well,
we're
you
ready.
gypped two of us here.
Oh, so sorry, go.
I have a couple comments about this. There's pros and cons to both naming something after a person and making it more generic when someone's doing a search, as far as like trying to find something on a map. My husband and I were the host family for the Rotary International Youth Exchange student last year, and I signed Hina up for the Teen Fusion program that was in this building. I was a lifeguard in both pools. There used to be a pool out here when I was a kid that's now a parking lot. That was a maintenance building. It took me 45 minutes to find this little building where this class was. I was in all those buildings over there. Is that where your office is? The district attorney's office? I don't know where I was, but we were walking around and around and driving around and around. So whatever it's named, I think it's a really good idea. I applaud you for putting a sign on the outside of the building because it is a very nondescript, like you said, it looks like a laundry facility. Also on the inside, I was actually very excited to attend the week that the graphic artists were speaking and teaching the kids about the mural program and how to blow something up to the size of a building. But that's my opinion, is it would be better for it to be a generic name than to be named after a person, because when you're looking for something on a map, you're not going to know, oh, it's Mark Twain Art Building or whoever. But anyway, those are my thoughts.
That gives it a name and a location at the same time, so, and it gives the kids the club and locates it, it's Carson Art Club, and I certainly agree that it doesn't look like a cultural center, so we're all right there.
All right. Okay. Oh, he's just over here. All right, well, thank you guys, thanks for your input. So now are we ready to vote, discuss? What are we doing? All right.
I move that we call the old kids club, that is now the Art facility, art classes and so forth, the art club. And if you really want to go way back, we spell club with a K, because that's the way kids club was spelled.
All right.
Was
so
that a
we-
good motion? I don't know.
Okay, so can you maybe formalize it to say I move? Thanks.
I move that we call this building the Art Club with a K.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Hearing none, it is now called the Art Club with a K. Or it's going to be recommended. Thank you. Recommended. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, well, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. All right, we're moving on to agenda item number 5F for possible action. This is the discussion and possible action regarding a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors concerning proposed updates to the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Department fees and charges policy. And Dan.
Thank you once again, Dan Arp, Recreation Superintendent, for the record. So we, as you can see, there's a history of our art. Sorry, I'm still stuck on art. On our fees policy that started in 2020. We did a fee policy and schedule with that, with all the fees that we listed in the department. And it's gone through a few modifications since then, and it's now time for some additional modifications. Today, we're only presenting just the policy portion of that, as we've kind of been given some direction to bring the fee schedule. With that, we do intend to actually make some changes to our fee schedule as well, but that will be kind of lumped into our budget cycle coming up here in around February, March timeframe. So you'll be seeing that shortly. But today, we're just going to focus on the art policy. I'm still stuck on art. The fee policy. And mostly there's a few edits that we needed to make, a few things that were not included that have changed in the past few years, such as we've now inherited arts and culture. So we need to include the Cultural Commission in this, and also arts and culture in our cost recovery goals. And where would that follow, including the Foundation for Carson City Parks and Recreation, and including our youth scholarship program, which has been a new development in the last couple of years since we last made changes to the fee policy. We also just needed to make some changes to our nonprofit partnership clarification with the requirements there for events, and for fee waivers as well for co-sponsorships. We also got some opinions from our risk manager and from our DA's office regarding, if you recall, about a year or so ago, we brought to your attention kind of some struggles we were having with private instruction. And so we were given some opinions on that. So we included a statement on how we want to manage that moving forward, and some of the requirements that they recommended that we look into whenever somebody wants to come to our facilities to teach private lessons. So we've addressed that in this policy. And then also just authorizing for the director to be able to waive or reduce fees in certain circumstances, and establish fees for new programs, and authorizing the city manager to approve modifications to the fee schedule with certain limits. And then obviously there was just some grammatical things that we've found, and then some additional ones that have been pointed out to me today as well, that will be changed before we bring this to the board as well. So I will turn the time over to you for any questions or discussion on any fees on the policy.
I do have a question on the, the private instruction, because I think it's a hot topic. But when you are adding the new language, you say that requests for use by commercial and private instructors will be subject to reservation fees and are not available for drop-in use. How is that monitored? Because that, like on a Sunday, when you have 4 pickleball courts taken by, somebody who's doing private lessons, how do you monitor that on?
So the intent of this is primarily, because of monitoring, is going to primarily be at our facilities that we have staff. So it's going to be at the MAC or the aquatic facility. As far as like the outdoor pickleball courts, for example, generally speaking, we don't allow any sort of reservations out there unless it's a large, right now it's just kind of a large group reservation, which we manage those things. But that facility is primarily for drop-in only and not for private use. But where we can monitor at the pool and at the MAC, this is mostly where we're going to be able to kind of enforce these things.
Very bottom of page 4. All right, so go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I noticed several places where the city manager part was changed to the director. Was that done with the knowledge and approval of the city manager?
Dana, for the record, yes, the city manager is aware, as is the board of supervisors, as we were given some direction where the board didn't want us to have to, because the way it was previously written, any little change we had made, especially in our fee schedule, we had to go to the board to kind of make some minor changes. So we're trying to bring some of those back to either the director or the city manager to be able to make those changes so that we don't have to take this to the board as regularly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Lisa.
Thank you. On 3.8, the, where did I just, it's on page 5. Oh, I just lost it. The cancellation fee, so it's the one in the red. So I was a little confused on that. It shows a 10% cancellation fee will be charged when refunds are requested by the participants, et cetera, et cetera. But then the next sentence, event and rental cancellations may result in the loss of a booking deposit. So can you explain the difference on that?
Absolutely. So basically the difference is the cancellation fee applies to any of our recreation programs, memberships at the aquatic facility, the MAC, et cetera. And when there's a cancellation there, they may be subject to a 10% processing fee. That's generally speaking because we're charged that percentage from ActiveNet, which is our user. So that's why we have that fee there.
Okay.
As far as rentals for our larger events, they are charged a booking deposit when they make a reservation to reserve the MAC or reserve a facility here at the community center or a park pavilion or anything like that for larger events. So in that case, because we charge a booking deposit, which is in our fee schedules, anywhere from $150 to $400 is a booking, security, cleaning deposit, all kind of defined as the same thing. That we don't charge the 10% in that case because we have that booking deposit, which we don't do for recreation programs and memberships naturally. So they could forfeit that booking deposit, which is how we've been managing our rentals always. So that's not really a change. We're just trying to, I don't think it was addressed in the policy before, so we're trying to make sure that that was included in the policy.
Okay. What might determine, because so what might determine when someone loses that deposit and when someone gets it back? Has that been worked through?
So it's primarily going to be a time.
Okay.
So a couple things. One, we wanted to make sure that if the cancellation was because of the user, as opposed to if for some reason we had to cancel, right? If we canceled, we're not going to charge those fees. And that's why the language in there for like the programs was when requested by the participant, because if we had to cancel due to the weather or something like that, then we don't charge those processing fees. And then also if they're within like a 30-day period, typically is when we do not refund back that full booking deposit, because by that point we've already had this place reserved. We've put a lot of time and we've already had staff working on those reservations for a period of time. And so they might forfeit a portion or all of that booking deposit, depending on the
And I'm in
circumstances.
support of that. I was just surprised because it was taken out within 30 days of event. So that there's a strike through that. So that's where I was a little confused on it.
Yeah, so that was a request from our reservations coordinator of how she manages
Okay.
that. But that's, open for discussion if you feel like there should be some more parameters that are put into that cancellation policy.
Okay. I'm anticipating some questions on that, so thanks.
Anyone else down here? Parks and Rec? Okay.
We ready?
Well, yeah.
We'll start with Aaron this time.
No, I'm good.
Mary? Oh, I'm sorry. Nope. You'll be happy with the fees. Charles? Keith?
I have one that's a little similar to what you were talking about on the booking deposit. In the definition, it says a fully refundable fee, and it's just being contradicted by that lower line down there. So I would say take a look at that.
Thank you. We'll make sure to address those and make sure that they are on the same page there.
I'm sorry, I think where he's referring to that is in the definitions under a booking fee. It says
Yes,
it's fully-
correct.
I'm waiting for him. Don't be apologizing. That was a lot of information you got there. I had heartburn with the definition of veterans for, to ask a veteran if they're 50% or not is kind of tacky. So I would hope there'd be a better way, but 49% don't get it and 48%. A lot of times these guys aren't going to tell you that anyway. So, but it's a bummer that they put a restriction on there.
And that is on their card. So usually when they present their card, it has a designation on there. So they have to present if they want to get the veterans pass, they have to present us their ID anyway, and it will show us. And that's direction that we received, not within our department, but coming up from the Board of Supervisors as far as a veteran service. So that's what we were trying to honor.
I didn't see anything about filming companies in here. Has that ever been a part of the fees?
Yes, it was discussed, but there is a policy, and Lindsay would know more about this, is more recent. But the city has, or I think, is it licensing has a filming permit, and so we just follow theirs.
Oh,
Lindsay Boyer for the record. Yeah, so there is a filming permit. It's through the planning division side of things. And so we've directed folks to apply directly for the permit through them. And then we just handle the facility rental side of things.
so does the money come back to open space or does it go to general fund?
The money for the facility rental comes back to open space, but that permit, that would go back to general fund.
Yeah, because I don't know how it happens that you get filming here, but
It's pretty infrequent.
you just want to make sure you're prepared for it. Yeah, and I didn't see like any fee structure for using the open space. Do you guys, if they come and say we want Soares Saddle Ranch in the barn, is there a list? Okay, that's $50, that's $100 a day, or is there any fee schedule at all for that?
I don't have the fee schedule in front of me, but I can confirm that there is a rental fee associated with Silver Saddle Ranch specifically that has its own rental fee. And then there is also a fee for trail side of things. So if they're just going to be using the trails, like for a race, we have a fee for that. Riverview is another rentable facility. So it should be buried in that fee policy somewhere.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it just wasn't covered in what you guys presented tonight.
Yeah, so we have two separate documents. We have this fee policy, and then we have a fee schedule. They're usually lumped together, but they are separate documents as far as for discussion. And as I mentioned before, we are making some changes to the fee schedule, which would list all open space fees, all of our recreation programs, and any rental fees throughout parks and other properties. And but they wanted that to be something that we brought forward when we're working on our budget, because there's some other city departments that they're working on fees as well. And so they wanted us to be able to work with those other departments and do kind of a fee schedule across the city instead of just our department.
Thank you.
And I apologize, I missed a few commissioners, so I am so sorry.
So I'm gonna bring up something from way back, and that's when we started with the gun range out there. And in the committee meetings that we had a what we call it, a little bit of a committee on the side. Those came back to the Park and Rec Commission for the fees and so forth. And one thing that I disagreed with in the committee meeting, and I disagreed with 5 years ago, is the designation for non-resident. The designation for non-resident is not consistent with the fee policy. It kind of pokes around in what you provided us today with that. And I think that it should be strictly Carson City residents recognize a discount at the gun range, not Nevada residents. And some of the background on that was because of the NDOW grants and so forth that are provided out there that help with things out there. We're still Carson City. It's still our gun facility. We have all the liability for that gun facility. We are the ones asking for money from NDOW for that facility. We're the ones that manage the facility and have safety out there. So I would like to see a change in that. That might be an uphill climb, but at the same time, I think it's the right thing to do, as I think that there should be dogs in Cary Square Park on a leash. But that's a different story for a different day. So does anybody have any questions, or is that enough information? I just want to say that on the schedule that you're working on and possibly in here, I don't think it needs to be in here. I think it needs to be talked about. So if you have any questions for me on that, that's fine, but that's my diatribe for the day.
No, yeah, thank you. And I think I'm clear to be able to provide that feedback back to Jen when she's back. Because you're correct that the rifle range is treated differently than how we do other things, and that was because of a decision made by that subcommittee. So yeah, I'll take that back to Jen.
And to be clear, I was not on the subcommittee. I was in the audience and spoke on that. And the comment back to me was because of those NDOW grants. And it didn't make sense to me 6 years ago, and it still doesn't make sense to me now. So, and I voted no for the fee schedule the last time it came up because of that. And I'll vote no for it again if it comes up like that. So, thank you.
Thank you, go ahead.
I think you bring up a really good point in that who is absorbing the risk. And I think that's a really good point in terms of it's Carson City who's absorbing the risk with insurance and all of that.
Right, thank you.
And Lisa, that's just one point. I mean, there's absolutely, in my opinion, there's no reason that it should be Nevada and not Carson City resident, because that's the way we do everything else with bookings, with swim passes, all of the other things. It's standard that we have.
Oh, and you
with
see
Carson
that in
City
other
residents.
counties as
Yeah.
well.
But
You
they
know, where
wanted
it's
to make
Douglas
it, they wanted
County
to
or
carve something out up there that
Yeah.
I didn't think was the right thing to do. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. And then I also have a suggestion as well. So first and foremost, being your school district board trustee on this, the school district wants to recognize the joint use agreement and how much the school district appreciates it and appreciates the usage of everything that the school district does get to use. So putting that on the record, thank you very much. Because we would lose a lot of activities if we did not have that joint use agreement. But on page 5, where it says, and it's 3.3.3, it says due to the popularity of the park system, and then it says is in priority. The first priority is public programs, activities, and events. Is there any way that we could put in parentheses or add something to Carson City School District being a first priority up there as well? Just because you do have to, a lot of your population here in Carson City are students and, the youth and whatever else as well. But it would be, I just kind of thought of that because the schools have a lot going on and they do use the Parks and Rec for that. And it would be great if they could be listed there as a priority.
Thank you. I'll take note of that.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other comments, edits? Okay, so this is for possible action. And I don't know that if, one way to make this motion is to make the motion to approve with the recommendations that have been brought forward, if we all agree on those recommendations, or vote on it with the consideration of those recommendations. So if anybody would like to make a motion, and it can go from either side.
Might have to do separate.
Would we? Can we? Is it, because it reads as it is a recommendation for the Parks and Recreation and Open Space Department. So is it two separate motions or one?
You can make one motion, and I'm comfortable with either everybody voting on it, or if you would prefer, you can have each separate body vote on it, either way.
All right, easy
And
one?
I should clarify that. If everybody votes on it, we're still going to tally the votes individually per commission and committee.
All right.
So could that come up with, we approve it and they don't, or could it be approved?
So,
Yes.
yeah, okay, so then,
I just wanted to make sure I was
Yeah.
following what you're saying. Thank
so
you.
I think to make this easier, I think we'll just go ahead and do Parks and Rec, do their vote, and then Open Space do their vote. So on the side of Parks and Rec, do I have a motion?
I'm confused with
Can
what-
you?
Yes,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm confused with what you said as far as recommending the way this is presented, or with all the minor changes and things that we brought up.
Right. So that's what I was saying, is if somebody would, chooses, like if somebody disagrees with your minor change or my minor change, or, I mean, Jay's was an edit, but, or I mean, consideration, looking at that, or if we would just do, because what I would like to see is a motion that we bring forward the recommendation with all of what we have discussed tonight, with all of the edits and considerations that we have discussed tonight as additions.
My question is, some of the edits or considerations, is that something that is it a viable edit or consideration? Thinking about some of the comments and then bringing it back to Jen and the department. So can you speak to that?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Dan Arp, for the record, that some of the advice that we were given was, as you mentioned, were just kind of suggestions for us to kind of think about. So I think for a motion, we probably would need either of those to be clarified for a specific wording that you want us to try to include, or some other direction that you would provide for us. Because as is, some of those things, and I mean, ultimately, this is going to be brought back to the board for review. So like, for example, if we were to decide to make edits here to incorporate the suggestion for non-resident fees for the rifle range, for example, that was a fee that was created by a subcommittee, but ultimately the board's gonna have to decide on that. And they might decide to keep it as is because of the way it was determined, right? So I think that would be ultimately the board's decision. But I think on that particular topic or other ones on here, I think if you would want us to make that language in here for the recommendation, then we probably need to have a little bit clearer direction on that.
And that's where I was thinking as well.
So how many did we have? Should we go?
I think we had
rehash those?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what, I think you should make the revisions of what, between you and Jen sitting down and figuring
Yeah.
them.
And then bring it back.
Then bring it back.
We can't vote
How
on
time-sensitive
speculation.
it was.
Because I don't, and with this being, like as you said too, I mean, you're saying I'm going to refer back to Jen, refer back to Jen. So I do think with what we've proposed, then bring up, is it time sensitive?
My next question.
I think we're okay on time, because I think the goal is to have this all kind of resolved throughout the next fee process that our next meeting would be, what, February? Which is when we're going into budgets anyway. So I think all in all, when this gets approved, I think it's fine if that gets lumped into the same timing as we're doing the budget for the city, because we're not even gonna address the fees schedule until that time anyway. So this is all gonna probably get brought up at that time. So I think we've got a couple months potentially.
Did you need clarification on the recommendations?
I think I'm okay. So, because I know we have booking policy, I think I'm clear on that one. I know exactly what you're looking for on the rifle range and resident fees. What other ones are on here?
Adding
Oh,
the
adding
school
schools,
district
yeah, that's
on page 5.
pretty clear.
And then the consistency of the language with the definition and what's in the policy. You got that? Yeah.
And to go back to the definitions, maybe there should be, because I couldn't find that, maybe there should be a definition of a resident, non-resident status. I mean, it makes sense to me, but does that need to be there? That might be a question for Jen to have that, because that'll come up in the policy if we put it in there, and to have that definition in the key, in the boilerplate might work out.
I think I'll add that on here, a definition for resident or non-resident.
Because there's a lot of people in Indian Hills that think they live in Carson City.
Yeah, I get that every day.
But the guys at the dump know that you're not.
All right, well, thank you. And so we'll just look forward to having this brought back.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 6A, which is the director's report. This was something that was in all of our packets for everyone to review and read. And so I'm not thinking that you're going to do the report, correct? Or are you going to?
I'm not going to, no, I'm not going to. I think what Jen typically does on this is she includes anything that has been brought to like the board level in the past couple months, which is what I think she included in the report. And then I think she often just adds kind of whatever is going on in our department. And I could comment on a couple of those kinds of things and projects and stuff that are currently going on, but not necessarily. I'm not going to go back and look at the things that are written down in the report.
Great, thanks. Does anybody have any questions about the director's report? Okay, great. All right, then we will move on to agenda item number 7A, which is the update from the school board liaison. I just wanted to let everybody know that, so this Friday, our 5th graders will be singing at the tree lighting. So I would encourage everybody to go down. They are very excited. It is public and private, and the Carson Montessori 5th grade. It takes a huge team to get them all together to practice to get it to go, but it is an annual thing. Also, this is a great time to be a student. I know the teachers are exhausted, but it is a great time for the students with all of the different holiday activities going on. All of those holiday activities can be found on the school district website. But just, we have the band concerts, the choir concerts for the high school, the middle schools going on as well. And some are here at the community center, and a lot of them then are at the school's multipurpose rooms as well. But there is orchestra, band, choir, musical theater. So anybody who wants to get into the holiday spirit, I encourage you to visit the Carson City School District website and find out where these students are. They've worked extremely hard for these concerts. Other than that, the schools are busy. We had our presentation, and our performance in most of our schools did either stay the same or went up from a 3-star to a 4-star. 2-star to 3 stars, our performance has gone up this year, which is something that we should as a community, be extremely proud of, because it does take a community to raise our kids. So, and then and first and foremost, I say this, I think, at every meeting, if you see a kid out during the day and they should be at school, please ask them why they're not at school. We always struggle with chronic absenteeism. That is something that our schools around the nation struggle with. So I ask all businesses, anybody that sees a child out during the day, ask them why they're not in school. So that's all I have for this evening. Moving on then to 7B, and this is an update from the Foundation for Carson City Parks Liaison. Do we have anyone? Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Lindsay Boyer for the record. No one is here in attendance. They couldn't make it tonight, but there was a report. It came in as late material, so you probably received that and it has all of their updates for you for this month.
All right, thank you. Yes, it did come in. We did receive that, so thank you very much. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item number 8, which is future agenda items. This is discussion only. So we'll start here with Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec Commission, do you have any future agenda items that you would like to see on our future meetings?
It's not an agenda item, but I've reached out to Aaron and about a spring weed fling in looking at May. And so we're looking at dates, and this would be at the cemetery again. And so there's the fall move with the mayor, and then let's have a spring weed fling just to help offset some of those pesky weeds that it takes 110 people several hours to get out of the ground in the fall. So working on that. And Aaron, thank you. You're just always so positive, and thanks for being supportive of that. So yay.
Future agenda items, right? Yep.
I was wondering how the tree problem in the city is, maybe we could get a report on that, but maybe we won't know until around May, right? If there could be a report on the measures that were taken to try to fix some of the things that we observed early this last year on the trees.
Charles? Mary?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of tail on to what Lisa was saying about trash cleanup, because I'm at war with trash. And if we could have like a citywide cleanup, and we have all of these groups that, can we somehow consolidate so people see us out there? Because as Aaron knows, our little trail is from the roundabout to the National Guard, and we have collected 15 huge bags, and that doesn't count all the things that don't fit in the bags. Really? And every night when we come back the next day, someone has hucked something out the window every single time. And so I think we need to address this, not just Erin, because she's doing open space and parks, but citywide. So I just don't know if we can have some discussions about consolidating all the people that are trying to do this, putting out something from the city. I know I've talked to Lisa about this, so I just want to keep that in forefront, because it's ridiculous how much trash. Trucks are not securing their loads, and people seem to have forgotten that it's not okay to throw trash out your car windows.
We need to bring back those commercials.
Yeah,
We've all
a friendly PSA as a reminder. And
agree.
Well, I think they got software now where you can't roll your windows down in a certain section of the highways. I know, Marion, we love that, and you can be the champion and help out Aaron with that program a lot.
Yeah, the ladies in my neighborhood, we're at war.
We start throwing garbage back in the cars when they go by.
You need camo.
I think we didn't
Hide in
have
the
any.
bushes, yeah.
Now it must be getting late.
If I saw someone, I probably would do that.
You were a good Jen tonight, Dan, too. I just want to tell you that. I could tell you,
Thank
you
you, Jen.
represented her very well.
Yes, great job.
Thank you.
All right.
So if that's everything to conclude agenda item number 8, we'll move on to agenda item number 9, which is public comment. Not seeing or hearing any. Close agenda item number 9. Agenda item number 10 is the possible action for adjournment.
So moved.
There you go. Do I have a second? Second by a lot of them. All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, everybody, please have a happy holidays.